All right, hey everyone, great to be here, and I've got a great friend here, Ian, the financial fighter, is in the house today here, and we're going to talk about debt and ways that you can really, I guess, get it paid off or get it gone, really, out of your life for good here. And Ian's got now this is for all the Canadians out there. Okay, so if you're Canadian, this is for you here. Ian's got some really cool strategies that we can implement to get your debt reduced, to get your debt paid off years sooner than kind of the conventional methods of just continue to pay it down, these high interest payments and never get out of debt. So if you're like one of those people that have been in debt for forever, it feels like, if you've got that high interest, the high interest credit card stuff you're diving into, if there's more payments than income coming in, I'm going to see if this works well for those people as well. Or if you just want a strategy that's going to have that debt gone, reduced, and out of your life sooner than later, this is for you. This is for you. Grab a pen and paper, dive in, and then we'll have, if you want to connect with Ian after, I'll have the link below there for you to connect with him and get started. But why don't we start here? Maybe start here with tell me a bit about your journey. How did you get into doing what you're doing?
Great question. I started off at the banks. Actually, I was a teller.
Wow.
I thought I had like the greatest job out being a teller. I was able to see what wealthy look like. I was able to see what poor look like. I was able to see what fake poor looks like, what fake wealthy looks like.
Yes.
Right. And, I was in the corporate Canada job wanting to move up. And, there was just too many hurdles in moving up in corporate Canada.
Yeah.
And I decided, one day to try this on my own. It couldn't hurt, right?
Yeah.
It couldn't really hurt. Let's try this on my own. And in 2001, after being in the banking industry for close to 13 years, if not more,
wow,
I decided that, I'm going to go out on my own and try building up people's portfolios and finances and doing that, on my own without, the benefit of a big brand behind me.
Awesome. And obviously you've been successful at it.
I'm still doing it. I'm still going, right? So, my success is the fact that I'm still able to go and I'm still able to, continue on with my business. I haven't had to go back into a 9-to-5. That's a win for me.
Which, by the way, if you want to talk about longevity in the financial world, what I have found is most people, whether it's investing, life insurance, banking, debt consolidation, or some sort of debt restructuring, most people have a 3-year kind of lifespan, and then they're gone.
Yes,
they can't make it. They can't cut it. Maybe they don't love it as well. Maybe that's part of it. But there is a revolving door. So for those that stick around or are in it, I've been in it now for 10 years. I know you've been in it way longer. There's respect, but B, there's usually like they're successful and good at what they do because they're able to continue to do it.
Correct. You got it.
So why don't you walk me through, like, I know we're going to separate each of these categories. We'll dive into each one specifically in terms of like how to break it down, how it works. But walk me through what you do now for people, like how it all works.
Yeah, so I'm a financial fighter. I'm known as, I'm a financial advisor known as the financial fighter. Yeah. And I'm typically known, what makes me different, Mike, than many other financial advisors out there is that I lead with debt. I think as Canadians, North Americans, our biggest hurdle to financial planning is debt, high interest debt, credit cards, loans, lines of credit. It's very easy to get that type of credit, but very hard to get rid of it.
Yes.
We run into situations where we have good judgment and say that we want to pay it off, but then all of a sudden we're carrying a balance, we're carrying high interest, and it's just a vicious circle. It's Peter to pay Paul, and we're not able to pay off our debt, and we're getting dinged with high interest at that time.
And to be honest, Canadians, from what I see, are the most indebted. We're the most indebted in definitely North America, but probably in the world per capita.
Oh, 100 now. I mean, we're in a society, get it now, pay later.
Yeah. And we really do pay later for it, don't we?
Correct.
So let's dive in here. There's probably about 3 different strategies that people can do when it comes to like getting rid of debt, especially the high interest, especially if you feel like you're drowning in it. There's probably 3 approaches we could take. Would you say, or more, or would 3 be?
I would say that, one, the first thing that you want to do when you have debt that we can go over is, don't be afraid when the phone is calling, when those bill collectors are calling you. Don't be afraid to pick up the phone. A lot of times bill collectors are calling and we see that number and we're like, hell to the no, I'm not picking up the phone right now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, pick up the phone. The one of the things you can do is negotiate. Right.
Okay, let's dive into negotiate.
Okay.
Yeah. Since you said it, let's just dive into it. So the first thing, Visa's calling me. They're yelling at me. They're threatening me. I mean, I don't know if they do that, to be honest, but I know at one point my wife used to be a collector, so I know the games.
Yes.
Right. Like we worked in that scene for a while, so I know the games I could play. Now she was a good one. She was really nice to everyone. But walk me through. They're saying you owe us this, and this. How do I negotiate?
Yeah, great.
How do you negotiate? Because that's what you would do for people.
Great question. So when it gets to the point that bill collectors are calling you, the main focus for those bill collectors is to settle the account. Yeah. And because they want to settle the account, it now puts the borrower into a position where they can negotiate to settle that account. And a lot of times, people have let their accounts run amok for a long time. Interest has been gaining on it. And, what they thought they were owing is much more. So, you want to bring down that bleeding. You want to then at that point in time negotiate with the bill collector and, give them a number that you're willing to negotiate. I'll use me for an example. Yeah. I had some clients that owed $52,000. I picked up the phone and I was able to negotiate that debt down for them down to $26,000, half.
Come on.
So from 52,000 to 26. And at the time, I could have probably have gone lower, but it was one of the first times that I was doing it. And, while I was trying to be like just ridiculous with the number, I probably could have still gone lower.
Nice.
But nonetheless, they were happy with 50%.
Yeah.
And what I did was not rocket science. I just had the cojones to pick up the phone and say, "This is what we want."
Yeah.
And
most people don't.
Correct. Most people don't. What they do is they hide, and they don't think that they have any tools that they can use to empower themselves to ensure that they're bringing down this debt. All they see is a mountain, and they don't see how I can push this mountain away.
Yeah. Now, can I ask, does this work for people who are in good standing, or is it only for those who are
anybody?
So,
anybody can
be in good standing. Why? Like that's like those who are in a good standing, it makes sense. Like I've done it a bunch, and it makes sense that when they're calling, you can negotiate. When you're in second round, third round collections, you can get, to me, I smell a deal when I hear you're in second rounds collections.
Correct.
But talk to me about someone who's in good standing, who's paying monthly. How do they do that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they can get into situations, Mike, where they've lost their job, where they've gotten ill, where they've gone through divorce. There's different circumstances why someone would want to negotiate. And it doesn't matter if you have good or bad credit. If you're in some type of financial, situation where you're drowning, hardship, where you see hardship coming, you may not even be in hardship, but you see down the road, oh my gosh, you know what? I'm running out of money. I have more months than I do money.
Yeah.
At that point in time, you want to pick up the phone and let your creditors know what's happening and negotiate with them at that point in time to put you in a better position mentally. Right? Because, this is very mentally draining, very stressful. Your health is your wealth. For sure, you'll see that when you're stressed with finances, people wear that. You can high blood pressure, sickness. There's so many things that we can go on and talk about.
Absolutely. And then if you're using those words, mental health, sickness, blood pressure, high blood pressure, all that stuff, I gotta imagine they're gonna play ball. They do not want to mess around in that realm, do they?
Absolutely, because one of the things that a lot of people have to empower them is that a lot of times they have what's known as unsecured lending.
Yep.
So meaning that the creditor has given you this credit just based on your name, your credit score, your income. There's no collateral there against it. So there's a risk that they have to take.
Yeah.
Right. And they know that you don't have to pay that back. You could use that money. You don't have to pay that back. Really. And they want you to pay that back. So it puts you in a position now of somewhat of empowerment when you can turn around and negotiate with them, because really and truly, that's all they have to get that money back is their negotiating skills with you. It's not like they have security of a home. It's like they have security of, an investment or money on the side or a car. None of that nature. It's unsecured lending. So if you don't pay, they got to try and hustle to get that money. But if they're not successful after 7 years, that's going to drop off your credit.
And that's it. Bye-bye.
Correct.
So they want to negotiate and get something.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. So that's the first way to do things.
Correct.
And that's the first way you can help people is just negotiating. You're calling on their behalf. You're advocating for them, and then getting it down. Now, do you do payment plans, or do you do more of a pay in full situation? How do you decide what to do?
I do more of a pay in full situation.
Okay.
I find that you get a bigger bang for your dollar, especially when you're dealing with creditors and they know that you have this money on the side and you can close the account. You don't have to chase you anymore.
Yeah.
Bada bing, bada boo. They love that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. And when you have some green, some cash in the hand, you could probably get a better deal.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. What's the next way? What's the second way people can really start to work and reduce the debt?
Great. So I deal with a lot of homeowners.
Okay. Yep.
Homeowners who typically have some type of equity stake in their home. Mm-hmm. We typically, use that to refinance their mortgage because at that time you'll find that the interest rate that's being charged to them is much better through a mortgage vehicle because now they're using the mortgage as security. They're using your home security. Yeah. So you're going to get a much better rate. And there's a lot of nifty things that you can do at that time, because what you'll find, Mike, is that a lot of times homeowners, when they're coming to me, their credit is derogatory, or they may not have good income at the time. Something may have happened. There could be illness. And a lot of times, the bigger institutions, they're not going to give you any type of lending if you don't have a job or if your income is low. They're not going to give you any type of lending if your credit is not good, right?
Yeah.
So this is where homeowners can empower themselves and use the equity in their home to get a loan. And then it's not based on credit. It's not based on income. It's based on more of the equity that they have in their home, because lenders at the time feel much more secure with putting a lien on the home and having you pay that down over time.
Yeah. Now, so that sounds like, would that be a HELOC kind of thing, like a line of credit on the house?
That could be a HELOC. That could be a home equity line of credit, right?
Would that be a remortgage?
Or it could be a remortgage. It could be a remortgage or a home equity line of credit. Whatever works best for them at that time. But the main goal, what we're trying to do, is eliminate that debt, shoot their credit score back up, and put them in a place where, in a year, not even a year, a lot of the clients that I'm dealing with, within, I would say, 4 months of, doing a refinance, you'll see that their credit shoots right up. And when I say right up, over like 650, 700.
Yeah. So if they're super low, if they're like just in the gutter, you're finding pretty relatively fast within a couple of months, they're going right back into good credit.
Correct.
Awesome.
But then we don't stop there. I'm a little bit more anal with my clients because we got to put them into good habits. A lot of times, as clients, they have to take some accountability and responsibility for where they are. and they didn't make the best financial choices. So we want to work with them, much like how a fitness trainer works with someone trying to get in shape.
Absolutely.
We stay on them on a weekly basis. We make sure that they're making good decisions. We make sure that they're budgeting. Budgeting is one of the things that people, they have it in their mind, but they actually don't have it written down.
Yeah,
they don't
absolutely.
have it popping up somewhere. They don't have reminders, and budget holds you accountable to ensuring that you don't get back into the bad credit situation, because statistics have shown that if you're in derogatory credit once, you'll be in derogatory credit 2 and 3 times, 4 times, so this is something that we definitely have to ensure that when we're working with those clients, we're ensuring to make sure that they have very good habits over that year.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah, so it's not just a one and done. It's we want to do this, make this the last time, fix it, so that we don't have to do this ever again.
Correct.
Yeah, makes sense. And then what's the third way people can go about this?
Great. I'm the financial advisor that will tell people consumer proposal and bankruptcy is your right, it's legal, and it's something that you should consider.
Okay.
If you have more months than income coming in, you're stressed out, bill collectors are calling you, you do not see an end to how you're going to get rid of your debt, your mental health at that point in time will tell you that maybe bankruptcy is best to do. A, it's legal. You're not doing anything illegal.
Yeah.
And B, it gets rid of your debt because your creditors get cents on the dollar. It gets rid of your debt right away. Yes, it's going to show on your credit report for 7 years, but typically, if someone has already had bad credit, it's probably been on the report for longer than that anyways.
Yeah.
Right? So now what you want to do is, even though it stays on a report for 7 years, it doesn't mean that you can't rebuild your credit within a year, 2 years, 3 years. It does not stop you from doing that. A lot of people who are discharged out of bankruptcy can get a loan or even a mortgage a day after bankruptcy.
Really?
Absolutely. 1,000%.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. Because the myth, I guess, would be, or the cultural myth would be that if you go do bankruptcy, like, get ready for not being able to do anything for 7 years.
Well, I want to talk about that.
Yeah,
there is a cultural myth that says, if I do bankruptcy, I'm a homeowner and I do bankruptcy, I'm going to lose my house, I'm going to lose my car, I'm going to lose my kids, I'm going to lose all my possessions.
Yeah.
And that's a big misconception.
Okay.
You do not lose your home. You do not lose your car. In bankruptcy, they cannot take those things away from you. They cannot kick you out of your home to get money. You need shelter. They cannot take your car away, which you need for work. You need to earn an income, right? So that's one of the biggest misconceptions that I wanted to make sure that your viewers understand, is that they're not taking away your home. They're not taking away your car.
Awesome. Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
And yeah, because that I can imagine stops a lot of people from pursuing that avenue, especially if, like you said earlier, if you've got more income than month, if you're
more months than income,
sorry, more or less, yeah, I said that backwards. Yeah. More month than income. If you've got, if you're making $5,000 a month and got $10,000 in bills,
correct.
Right, this is an avenue that could stop that in its tracks.
Correct, 100%, and it's legal, and you're not doing anything illegal. And it really is a great solution to getting out of debt.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, and it can fast forward that. It can fast track that. Because what would you say? And maybe everyone's a bit different, but is there kind of a classic number that, like, when people do this avenue, they free up half their income, or they free up half their debt payments, or free up all their debt payments? What does it typically look like?
I would say, on average, I would say you're looking at people who have debt, $25,000 and over.
Okay.
I find that, I also find the number, Mike, it really depends on people and people's comfort level. You'll find that some people, they'll owe $25,000 of debt and they can't sleep at night. It keeps them up. They're stressed.
Yeah.
I have some people that doesn't happen with them until they're at $75,000 of debt, right? So it's really different for everyone. But at the end of the day, you want to be able to, when you put your head down to sleep, to have a good night's rest. And now your mind is not going and thinking, oh my gosh, when am I going to pay off this debt? How am I going to pay off this debt?
Yeah. Got it.
Where am I going to get the money to pay off this debt?
Yeah, it's a lot of ease of mind. I have to say, when it comes to money, stress is probably one of the biggest problems. And stress can sometimes take years to manifest in your body, right?
Yes.
Like a lot of times we could be stressed out and we get it, but it takes years to manifest in our body. And what I found is taking care of that money, getting clear, getting on a great plan starts to relieve that stress.
100%. All day, every single day.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a burden on your shoulders. It's a burden on your shoulders. You'll find that I always call debt an STD.
Ooh,
no one wants to talk about an STD ever.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing with debt. No one ever really wants to talk about the debt. How you doing? Oh, I'm good. But in the back of your mind, you have this mountain of debt piling up, and you really don't know how to deal with it.
Yeah. And so this is the goal, is we can take care of that.
Correct.
Got it. So who would you say, call it avatar, call it whatever you want, who would be the person that says, that's me, I should reach out? What would be their situation right now?
Good question. Typically, it's the person who's has credit card loans, lines of credit, or a car loan. They have a lot of debt that they're paying at different times of the month, not able to keep up. Their income may be lower. They're having to pay this debt, before they even get food, or pay their light bill, pay their phone bill. Their credit has been shot. They're trying to get loans and lines of credit through financial institutions, but getting denied.
High interest, if you're the high interest, like payday lender kind of thing.
High interest debt. I mean, high interest debt is very common right now in North America. I mean, like 22, 25%. No one's really batting an eye on that, when it comes to credit cards, to be honest with you, and carrying that balance, right? Because, the credit card companies that do such a good job of saying, hey, spend as much as you want, but then you just have to pay this little bit of money, right? Yeah. And this little bit of money is going to guarantee to keep you in debt for the next 10 years. Oh, guaranteed.
More than 10.
Oh, yeah, you're probably right. More than 10. Yeah. I mean, if someone was to calculate, hey, if I pay this minimum payment, how long it'll take me to pay off my debt? I don't care what it is, 5,000, 10, 15, 20,000. They'll see that it's going to take them, like you said, Mike, somewhere between, 7, 10, maybe sometimes longer than 10 years, for sure.
I've seen 40, 50, 60, especially down in the U.S. where it literally is the minimum payment only and it's interest payment only.
Right.
And plus $2 or something. That's insane. But yeah, you're right. So if that's you, what I want you to do is I want you to click the link below, get on a call. Like I'm going to imagine, get on a call, see if we can help, or see if you can help. If you can, you'll show them how. If you can't, then it's all good.
Yeah, it's really easy. Typically, Mike, there's always a solution to get out of to be getting out of debt. Yeah, really and truly, there's always a solution.
Yeah.
What I find is that when people are drowning, they really feel like they're drowning, and they don't think that there's some type of lifesaver for them.
Yeah.
Right. And they think that I'm the only one going through this, and it's very embarrassing to speak about. To be honest with you, it's an uncomfortable topic for a lot of people.
Yeah. And so here's our heart. Let's get you out of this mess. For some of you, you've been in this 5, 10, 15, some of you 20, 25, 30 years. Right. The banks have made millions off of you. Millions. And they want to continue to do it. Right. And that's the problem, is they want to continue to do it. They're not coming to the door to show you how to fix this. Let us help you fix this once and for all. Let Ian go and fight on your behalf, put a solution together. And I want to show you this, and this is where I'm going to end, Ian, is I want to show them the compound impact this can have on their life. Okay. Now,
the compound, yes. The
compound impact.
Are you showing them negative impact or the positive? I think you should show the negative impact.
I can show both.
Let's
do both. Yeah. Okay. So Well, walk me through a typical, like, what would you say this process starts for most people in their 20s in terms of the lending game?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as soon as individuals get out of college, university,
Yes.
Around that age, the credit card companies are they're on them like a pack of wolves.
They're on them in college. They're trying to indoctrinate them. Like, you get your first card, here, go get that free burrito. We'll give you a credit card if you sign up. We'll give you a free burrito, right?
Correct, Mike.
They've got no idea what it is, and anyways, yeah. So I'd say it even starts in college, but definitely out of college is when it really, like a pack of wolves, they attack you. So somewhere in your 20s. Right. Yeah. And I'm going to run this. This is an investment calculator. So I'm going to run the investment backwards. I'm going to run it as I'm a bank. I'm going to run it pretending I'm Visa.
Nice.
Right? I'm Visa. I want to get you, Ian, in debt. I get you in your 20s. Okay.
You got it.
Now, your debt amounts are arranged. Usually you go further into debt the older you get.
Correct.
But let me walk you through this. A 40-year example here. Let's just say the average Canadian's like 23 or something, $24,000 in debt. That's consumer debt. That's not your mortgage or your car. That's credit cards, lines of credits, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put zero there for monthly. But they're charging you 22% style returns, 22, 23, 24%. Yeah. Ready for this? Let's just say you do your minimum payments. Let's just say you pay a little bit off. You fall back in debt over time. That's $147 million over 40 years on $24,000 of debt at 22% interest. That's what they benefit from you staying in debt with them.
Correct.
Isn't that crazy?
That is just like when you see that number, right? And that's the number that most Canadians don't see. They're just paying that minimum over time, and they don't see that.
They don't see the 147, the 147 mil.
They don't see that.
Yeah, that's what Visa gets from you, your kids, your spouse, if you stay in this debt. Now, some people, let's be honest, Ian, some people are like 50,000.
Correct.
That's not uncommon to have 50K in credit card debt these days.
Correct.
$306 million, and that's one person.
That's one person, correct.
You times that by, now, Visa is obviously not just in Canada, but I look at Visa's earnings reports. They made over $40 billion last year.
Wow.
That's 1 year.
Of course.
And this is how they're doing it, right?
Yes.
And so the way I see it is, let's turn this around on our shoulders. Let's start with nothing. Let's say you're able to get debt-free, whether it's through one of the three things we talked about today. You're able to save that $500 a month, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more. And instead of paying Visa payments every month, Visa now pays you because you invest.
Right.
Visa has averaged with their dividend payment about 16% year over year for their shareholders.
Oh, wow.
It's $21 million in your pocket in 40 years.
Correct. That's excellent. This calculator is awesome.
Yeah. I use this all the time with clients. Like I say, this is what it costs you in your debt payments, and this is where we can go if we can get debt free and make it happen. Now, obviously, most of you probably aren't 20. Maybe you're in your 40s doing this. But it's still crazy savings. You're almost a millionaire.
Yeah.
You're still almost a millionaire.
Correct.
And most people minimum payment aren't 500. Most people are about $1,000 a month is what I found. About 1,000, maybe a bit more. So at $1,000, you're a millionaire.
Correct.
So the way I see it, Ian, is there's no reason why not to call.
Right.
At least see if there's help, if there's something we can do, and there always is. And then if we can, let's get about getting these guys out of your life for good and getting on the path to prosperity, to wealth, to abundance.
Correct. That calculator is huge. Massive. Well done.
Awesome, guys. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I've got a button below. I've got a link around this video here that you guys are going to be able to click on. You're going to reach out to Ian, and he's going to walk you through on one of the methods that we could do for you, whether it's debt negotiation, maybe a remortgage if you got some assets in the house, or if you're one of those people that's like, it's hard, it's struggle. That we've always got the bankruptcy route, but the great part about that is we can build that credit score up really fast, especially when you free up a whole bunch of money to now be able to live.
Correct.
It's a different life. Yeah.
Correct.
Awesome. Well, any last words of wisdom that you want to share?
No, but you know what? It's better to start today than, plan never to do it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Awesome, guys. Well, reach out if you have any questions. Reach out. If not, click the button around this video here. You'll connect with Ian. He'll be able to start to walk you through the best plan for your debt. We'll talk to you soon.